Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jenna, and this is my 38-week pregnancy update and probably, hopefully, my last pregnancy update. So, if you're new here, you're kind of late to the party, but that's okay. If I'm being honest, I have been trying to put this video off because I was hoping I wouldn't get to this point, and I'll explain that in a couple of minutes. But before we get started, I just wanted to again say thank you to those of you who have been following along this whole time. That I started these updates. It's been really fun to get to know you guys who are pregnant at the same time as me, or who are already mothers or just watching me for fun. I really appreciate you praying for me and thinking of my pregnancy and the baby. It has been a very fun experience being able to document this whole pregnancy, what I'm feeling, and different milestones that are happening and everything like that. So I just want to say thank you for watching. Alright, now jumping into the stats of the baby. So the baby's about 20 inches long and about 6.5 pounds. I would compare it to a fruit, but it's like the size of a baby now, like a human baby, so it'd be pointless to compare it to a fruit. But anyways, that is pretty much all that has happened. Everything's pretty much developed. She could come anytime now. I think the only thing that my app mentioned was like the baby is getting rid of the vernix, is that what it's called? The white stuff, like the white cream on their skin. It's starting to get rid of that, but there might still be a little bit of it on at birth, so yeah. Alright, it's time to measure the belly, and I'm really curious what it's going to be this week because it's been growing pretty steadily. Again, I don't remember what it was last time, but it's 42 inches this week, and it would be interesting to see what it was at the beginning of the pregnancy. I'll have to go back and watch my first video and then put it in here. Last stat about me is my weight gain for this pregnancy. My weight gain so far has been 28 pounds, I think. So I don't think I've gained any weight since my last update at the doctor. I was still weighing in at the same weight. So yeah, I think it's been 28 pounds. As far as symptoms go, I don't really have too many pregnancy symptoms this week. I mean, I am pretty much at the end of my pregnancy, but I have a lot of symptoms of labor. The pregnancy symptoms I have been experiencing this week is just extreme pressure in my pelvic region. I just feel like there's so much weight sitting ready to just fall out of me at any moment. And then another thing is peeing. I can't stop. Like, I just go all the time. Especially at night, I've been waking up so much, which is not common for me, so that's weird. My bladder is definitely getting pushed. And then for the last symptom, I just started noticing it this week, which I didn't think I would because I haven't experienced it at all earlier in the pregnancy, but my feet have been swelling really bad at the end of the day. Luckily, that is only a symptom that I've been experiencing right now, and it hasn't been like my whole third trimester, so I'm thankful for that. Those are my last pregnancy symptoms. Now, the reason I was hoping I wasn't going to be able to film this is because this little baby has been tricking me so bad. I like laugh about it now, but in the moments and like right after, it's so kind of like frustrating because I get my hopes up really high and then they go down. But anyway, I'll explain a little bit. So on July 4th, today is July 8th, I was just over 38 weeks pregnant, and I woke up at 6 in the morning with contractions, and they were not Braxton Hicks. They were definitely stronger than Braxton Hicks contractions, because I had never felt these before. I was getting really bad back pain. Sorry, I'm so out of breath. And no matter which way I turned in bed, the back pain wouldn't go away, so I was confused what that was. So every time I'd get the back pain, I would touch my stomach and realize that it was a contraction. And they just started to become really frequent, and I was like, that's not normal for me, at least. Like, that hasn't happened to me at all in this pregnancy. Like, my Braxton Hicks have never been frequent, I guess. Like, during the day, they just happen sporadically. So I decided that I would just try to sleep it off, and then if I could sleep, it was probably not like anything like labor, and then if I couldn't sleep, I would time them, and so on. So I went back to sleep. I slept until 8:30 for 2 hours, so I slept through them, and I still woke up with them happening frequently. So I decided to get out of bed because they were hurting my back really bad. So I got up, and I was still having them, but they didn't hurt on my back as bad as I was walking. And as I was eating breakfast, they were still coming, my back was still hurting, and I decided to start timing them because it was pretty frequent and it was kind of freaking me out. I live 50 minutes from my hospital. So they tell you, so my hospital told me, since I do live far away, to start coming in at contractions every 7 minutes for 30 seconds to a minute long. So I started timing them, and each contraction was about 30 to 45 seconds long, and they were 5 minutes apart. I was like, that is not normal. Like, I wonder what's going on. And I didn't want to get my hopes up too high or anything. These weren't so intense that I couldn't walk or couldn't talk through them. Like, I could totally breathe and talk, and the only reason I noticed them was because my back was hurting and I was touching my stomach constantly to see if it was happening. So I decided to try and forget about it. I went to a movie with my family, and as I was sitting in the movie, they got really intense again in my back, and I couldn't, it was like making me go a little bit crazy in my head, like I couldn't think straight, and they were coming really frequently. So I decided to start timing them again because they seemed to be picking up, and they were still at least 40 seconds long and 2 minutes apart. I was just really weirded out because I was still being able to like talk and walk, but they just hurt and were so close. And I ended up calling the labor and delivery line for my hospital. The nurse on the line was so sweet. She didn't downplay what I was saying at all. Like, she didn't make me feel like I was stupid, which I feel like a lot of them do when it's clearly not active labor. So she was saying to me, well, since I've been talking to you, we've been talking for like 10 minutes, it seems like you are totally fine talking through these contractions even though you're still having them. I don't think it's anything. It might just be like the prodromal, or however you say it, prodromal labor, just like your body practicing. You could be dehydrated, something could irritate your uterus. Just lots of things could happen, but it didn't seem like something to come in for. She said, you're totally welcome to come in and we'll check you, but we can't keep you at 38 weeks until you're 4 centimeters dilated in active labor. So I was like, I don't know what to do because I've never been in labor before. First baby here, and like everyone says your contractions, you shouldn't be able to walk or talk through them, but I was able to walk and talk through them, and it was just weird because they were coming so frequently, and I could feel pressure in my pelvis, and like I felt like really bad period cramps. So I was getting so nervous, so I decided that I would just go home. My husband came home from work, and we just chilled the rest of the day, and we decided if they did pick up even a little bit, we'd go in and get checked, just to make sure that I wasn't in active labor. So I just laid on the couch, and all the way from 10 a.m. until I went to bed that night, they were still 2 minutes apart the whole day. And they didn't ever pick up. If anything, they got less intense, like just Braxton Hicks every 2 minutes. It didn't hurt my back anymore unless I was laying on my back or side. And so that was so strange, and I was kind of bummed because I really thought that was the day. Like, when I started getting those contractions, I got excited, my husband got excited, and I woke up and nothing. So the next day I had my doctor appointment, and I was so curious to see if I had made any progression because at my last appointment I was 1 centimeter dilated and 0% effaced, so not thinned out at all. And I was so curious if the contractions the day before did anything to my cervix to change my progression. And it was like, I got there and I talked to my doctor, told her what happened the day before, told her I called labor and delivery, and she said, well, she kind of was like, yeah, it was probably nothing, you're probably dehydrated or just overworked yourself. She did my cervical check, and she was like, well, you're some people would consider 3 centimeters and about 80% effaced. So that is a good cervical check. And so she was basically like shocked that it changed my cervix. And I asked her, I said, so now knowing that, like at the beginning you thought it was kind of nothing, now knowing that it did change my cervix, do you think that that was some sort of like early signs of labor or like even early laboring? And she looked at me and she's like, I think it might be. I can't say for sure because like you didn't come in, but I do think that since we saw change within 2 weeks from your first check to now, and it was that much change after that full day of contracting, she thinks that that was some sort of early laboring. And so she basically was like, be ready any day. You could go another week, you could go to your due date, but I'd be surprised. So then I was like pumped. I was like, yes, it's gonna happen so soon. And here we are, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And here we are 4 days later and I'm still pregnant. Then last night this happened again and I was up for 2.5 hours in the middle of the night with super strong contractions, back pain, nausea, just sweating. Like, I thought for sure last night was the night, and I couldn't sleep through them. I even got a couple that I couldn't walk through, and I was just waiting for them to pick up so I could call. But these were 3 minutes apart, lasting 30 seconds. So again, so close together, and I just have no idea what's going on. I figured if I could sleep through them, there was probably nothing, and then if I couldn't, then I'd wait for them to progress. So I tried to sleep through them. I could not because they were really intense in my back. I tried sleeping like crouched in like a turtle shell position almost. I tried sleeping on both sides, sitting up, and I just couldn't get comfortable. So I tried walking around the house, bouncing on my ball, I don't know, just doing random things to try and get things moving without wasting all my energy. But then I was like, I started to feel them go away. So I went to lay down again and then I fell asleep and I woke up and nothing. So I have no idea what's happening anymore. I don't know what to expect. I don't know if this is like early laboring or if it's just the prodromal practice labor. But yeah. Anyway, it was cool to see that I at least progressed a little bit, and that's less that I'll have to do during labor. And it was also cool to like experience some contractions and get to know what they sort of feel like, even if they are dialed down a lot compared to what they will be. It's cool to experience that and that my body does know what it's doing. And it's making me feel a little bit more comfortable for when labor does come, so I'm really grateful for that. I know that that was a very long doctor's update, but I feel like I just needed to rant about that because it's getting kind of discouraging for me because I got my hopes up really high both times that this like pre-labor stuff happened. I got really excited, and now I'm 5 days past that and it's just like I'm still here pregnant, but I'm still enjoying all the kicks and the feelings of baby. I don't want to take that for granted. I know that I'll miss it when she's out. Again, I feel like I say this in a lot of them. I don't want to come across like I'm complaining or ungrateful for this. I know so many women wish to be pregnant and have a baby, so I do not want to be insensitive to that. It's hard to stay patient when you're so close and things are happening that make it seem like it could be any moment. So yeah, I'm trying to stay positive, and I'm just praying for patience and strength to get through this pre-laboring stuff because it is getting tiring, especially being up in the middle of the night. It was tiring, but that's okay. I only have a couple of days left before my due date, and then you know what? She can't stand there forever. So that's what I'm telling myself, is that she'll be out soon enough and it will be okay. Whenever she comes out, that's going to be the perfect time for her. So yeah, again, I apologize for such a long update. If you made it this far, thank you. Again, I want to thank you for watching, and I think this is going to be my last update. I hope it is anyways, because I'm so ready. I'll see you back next time. It may be with a baby, or it may not be. Pray that it's with a baby. Okay, bye.